let's move forward. So next we got the Celtics, right? So right now the Celtics are a bit of on I don't know what you want to call it, because at the end of the day, I still think the Celtics are a good basketball team, but it just seems recently that they've been having some trouble. Um I don't know how you guys feel about it, because really the roster's not that good, right? And we still look at them as if they're contenders, for the most part. And I don't know if you guys think of them as a contending roster, but I think they have the top end talent to do it. But right now, people are looking at Danny Ainge with that trade exception and the recent events and saying, "What are you going to
The one
do?"
that we knew that he wasn't going to use.
But he has to use it.
Yo,
So I guess my point is this: like, what is he
Chris,
going to do to right the ship? But if you're asking me personally, like, I think Danny Ainge is the biggest pump faker in basketball. He has a trade exception. He could easily go out there and make a trade for Drummond, Vucevic, whatever big's available right now, which is what they need. They need rebounding and size, and they need depth. So at what point are you going to sit down there and say, I'm wasting my team away? Because Kemba's not getting any better. Like, Kemba's not getting any better. Jaylen Brown's ascending. Tatum is what Tatum is. Your team it has a top end talent, but you have to fill out the roster. And I feel like I'm starting to look at him sideways now, because we've always looked at Danny Ainge like, you're the great GM. You know, you're hoodwinking other GMs. You're just a tier above the rest. It's like, yo, now your team's mediocre, and it doesn't have to be. So what are you really doing to improve the roster? What do you guys think?
Danny Ainge is a fraud still. He's the man that dips his toenail into the water, fam, every single time. And at the end of the day, he's not coming out with nothing. He's in the mix for every star player that's been on the market in the past 10 years. And he's never got one of them. The only thing they did was land Hayward, and that was because Brad Stevens was his former coach.
Was his coach in fucking college.
Yeah, in college. So to speak to the Celtics specifically, they have that trade exception. They're going to have to use it still. We can't just keep Biden by the... No. They're going to have to use it. We can't just keep Biden by... Again, it's starting to look like the fact that they fleeced the Nets, I could have did it. Because Danny Ainge is not saying nothing since then, fam. And I don't know what he's done. He went out and got Kyrie.
You can't put that on him still.
Why? He went out and got Kyrie, but at the same time, in that same transaction, he did IT super dirty. So I can't even really rate him for that. And since then, he's been in the mix for AD, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis, Paul George, everybody. Seen? And all you've done since then is sign Hayward, lose him, and get this trade exception, obviously. And now you're looking at Drummond as your only possibility to acquire. I don't think there's any chance to get Vucevic. They don't have the assets to acquire him. So I think they have to use that $28 million to just fill out their depth. And again, they don't need Drummond. They have Tristan Thompson, who essentially does the same thing.
That ain't Thompson's dog shit.
No. I understand he's washed, but you have way more needs than a man that you might not even start that might not even finish games for you,
bro. But the thing about it is, when I watch Celtics games, like for the most part, when Kemba was out, they used Jaylen Brown and Tatum to do a lot of their creating. Fair. That's not their natural role, but they can do it as high level talent.
Marcus Smart's at a career high in assists right now.
But when I look at, first of all, Daniel Tice starts every game with an illegal screen. That's the first thing. Like, that nigga sucks. Then Tristan Thompson, although we want to say he's great at rebounding he's not really playing well. And he isn't that big to begin with. He's 6'9", and he was always known for getting boards, and he's not doing it this year. Right? Those guys get gobbled up on the offensive glass. Like, they need a big. I think Drummond would be the perfect fit. Well, not perfect fit. I think it would fix a lot of holes for them. Whether or not they use him in the closing lineup doesn't really make a difference to me. But I feel like in the course of the regular season and maybe in the early stages of the playoffs, they're going to need someone like him. And yeah, Vucevic may be out of reach, but what else are you going to do with that big-ass trade exception? You're going to make it expire? You have to do something.
Nah, I'd say you break that in. Like, you break that down still. Trying to acquire at least two men that can come off your bench. Because, they're thin, fam.
They're thin still.
Thin. Because, they were thin last year.
Bro.
Thin still.
They were thin last year.
I remember one of the pods I was arguing, and I was saying, like, don't talk to me about that trade exception, because I already know what it is with a man like Danny Ainge. Like, he ain't doing nothing with it. And until he actually does something with that trade exception, I'm going to continue to say he ain't doing shit. Like, he's not. Danny Ainge is just a man that goes out there and just runs his lip, fam. Runs his lip all year long. And then does it again when the next league season starts. Like, fuck off, bro. Like, honestly, you're not using that. And until you use it, fuck off. But for me, like, the issue with those guys, bro, the way I see them, they're a poor man's Kawhi and PG. But I really look at them now, and it looks like how I used to look at the Raptors when it was DeMar and Kyle Lowry, right? Why I say that is, right? You have two mans that can go out there and do shit for you. You know what I'm saying? That can really go out there and do shit for you. But after those two mans, now you're wondering, like, who's gonna be, the third, fourth man to actually push you over a guy like LeBron James when it comes time to see him, or push you over other teams that we repeatedly ran into before we ended up with Kawhi and was able to get over the hump. Like, if we still had DeMar DeRozan in that Philly series, we're losing in Game 7. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, I believe, like, Tatum. The issue with Tatum is that, and Brown, they're both ISO dependent. And in the playoffs, I don't feel like they're going to be able to be that efficient in ISO possessions. Now I'm saying, who are the others that are coming around, to muck? Yes, Marcus Smart can, but you already know Marcus Smart can go south as easy as he can go hot. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I believe Marcus Smart can win you a couple games, but he will also lose you a couple games. So, like, who's the player? You know what I'm saying? Who's the player that's going to go out there and be like, I'm going to hold it down? They're looking for Peyton Pritchard to be that player, fam. A rookie out of Oregon.
Kemba.
But we've seen Kemba get played off the court too many times in the playoffs. Too many times. And he's only been in the playoffs for a limited amount of time, yes, but, like, now he's older, he's slower, and he's also has his knee that's achy breaky. So, like, for me, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I look at them like Toronto back when I was looking at Toronto, and I'm saying they have the talent. I see the wins. They're not even really winning, but I see the talent. But, like, do I really trust in them to beat the top of the top, to make it above? I don't know.
There's a huge difference between Toronto and the Celtics, though. The difference is those mans had absolutely peaked. We're talking about mans that are like 23 years old right now still.
But did they peak though in 2014 and 2015 times? Can we actually say they peaked when it looked like a man like, what's his name, DeRozan, started shooting threes? You know what I'm saying? I think he had like 20 points a game year, in 1 year.
Yeah, but I'm saying DeRozan's like 27 at that point. That's my point.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, you're looking at the Celtics. First of all, Tatum had a great playoffs last year in whatever ISO situation you're talking about. Jaylen Brown struggled towards the end, but he was missing wide open shots. He couldn't hit a shot to save his life. So I disagree with you on that. And I just think they're better. I think, obviously, having two wings with size is better than a man in DeRozan who's playing 2-point game, and Lowry, who's obviously undersized, as great as much as we love him. So I think there's a huge difference. And I think, looking at that Raptors team, I can't remember who we relied upon after those three guys.
But that's my point.
And I understand, but none of those guys were even of the ilk of Kemba Walker. And, I'm the first man. I told Mans months ago, Kemba Walker's knee is done.
It's done.
That shit is cooked.
It's cooked.
And I told Mans that months ago. I told him he needs surgery, and they're avoiding it. That's why they did that injection in his knee. His knee's cooked. If they can manage him to the point, they just got to get him there and hope he can survive. And I'm the first man to say asking for that is a tall task, but I still think they're in a better position than the Raptors. But again, I agree with you. He has to use that trade exception, and he hasn't shown us any inclination that he will. But if I'm the Celtics owners and I know this isn't true and this is probably not likely, if he doesn't use that, his job's on the line still.
Is it though? Because I feel like he's one.
No, for me. For
you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the Celtics, they're not going to do anything with him. He looks like he can walk in there, take a shit on his desk, and Mans will just allow him still. So he might be good forever, but if that's me and you don't use that, you're out of here.
Exactly. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, again, I'm a big proponent of maximizing your potential and talent. Like right now, like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are arguably like two top 20 players, right? Not even in their prime. Yeah. They're ascending right now. So it's like, just given the way your team is constructed, like give your team a chance. Like obviously Kemba is what it is, but I look through the bench. Ojalay's playing minutes. That guy sucks. Grant Williams can't do a thing on the court. Javante Green or whatever his name is went up for a dunk and looked like me out there going for a layup, bro. No athleticism. It's just
Nah,
like,
he's pretty athletic.
nah, bro.
So.
You guys didn't see the rim, the time he drove to the rim and couldn't pop off the ground.
I watch him a lot. I watch basically. Nah, I
Man,
feel
the
like
man
he's
couldn't
athletic.
pop off the ground, bro. It looked like
I
me
feel like that's
going
all
up
he
for a
can
layup.
do though.
What?
Oh no, that was one time when he like all mans blow a tire at one point. Like he just blew a tire
I've
in
seen
that
it three. I've seen
situation.
it 3 times now. 3 times now. And I'm not. The thing is, I would have gave him the benefit of the doubt if he was good. But when you're shit, and I see that you're shit, I'm gonna have to call it for what it is. The team is just decimated. Like the roster is poor. Where's Romeo Langford? Does that guy play basketball anymore? Like he
He's
has
in
to
the
make a
D-League.
move, man. He has to make a move. You have to balance out the roster. You got to do something because if I'm Tatum and I'm looking around and I'm like, yo, who the fuck are these guys? Jaylen Brown obviously is different because I'm looking at him like he's my co-star, but like I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, this it's desolate out here. Even Jeff Teague, that guy may be out the league
But yo,
next year. To be honest,
but this is what I'm saying. Like my whole Toronto comparison was that you have two mans that are that are like high level mans. Yes, indeed. But at the
I don't
same
think
time,
DeRozan was ever
can-
as good as Tatum is now. To be honest,
nah, DeRozan was all NBA some years.
that don't mean much. I still
And
don't think he's
doesn't
that.
Kyle Lowry have a 1-2 all NBA teams as well?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I don't think even at their
We're
being
talking
all
about
NBA talents,
we're
they're
talking
not
about
as good.
that 2015-2016 season when they were at the peak, when they were on the Olympic team and all of that type of stuff. Like that was peak them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Kev, but no, that was peak them. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we had two high level mans, but we just didn't have enough to flesh out the thing. And yeah, we had JV, which is also better than anything that the Celtics is rocking with at center. Like we actually had a competent, you know what I'm saying? Like JV balled out in the playoffs every single year. Every year.
Yeah, but JV's JV, man. I'm talking about like, yo, we talking about
Yes,
wing
but
talent, fam. These guys are
and that's what I'm
career
saying.
wings.
Yeah, they have two mans on the wing, and that's it. That's it.
That's the problem, fam.
After
We
that,
understand.
but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm comparing them to Toronto. Like they have two high level mans, the same way Toronto had. But I won't beat that dead horse. Basically, what I'm saying is, I do not see Danny Ainge using that exception because he's never proven to use it
I agree.
ever.